Hi there, welcome to TAMP Studios. My name's Christopher, and co-presenting with me is Guru. We're both technical account managers based out of the Australian APAC region. If you're interested in getting to know and understand when topics, sentiment, and empathy are detected within interactions via an alert, SMS, or email, follow along. As of June 30, Genesis Cloud has now introduced this functionality. Administrators can now configure process automation to trigger workflows based on speech and text analytics results, including specific topics, sentiment scores, or empathy indicators. This enhancement helps organizations take timely action after calls, such as initiating alerts or follow-up processes when certain conditions are detected in a conversation after the agent has completed the interaction. Some examples are listed below. If a customer call is classified under the billing issue topic, a workflow can be triggered to notify the billing department. Also, if a customer's sentiment falls below -20, the system can alert a supervisor. And lastly, if an empathy queue is detected, a workflow could initiate to provide coaching resources or escalate the conversation to a supervisor or team leader. So let's hand over to Guru to present how this new feature is configured and run a live example. Over to you, Guru.
Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. In Genesis Cloud, I have now loaded the triggers and I'm in the process of creating a trigger. Let's look at the new topics that have been added as part of this feature. When you scroll down the bottom and look at the notification topics, you could see that there are 3 new topics introduced, such as the topics, sentiment, and empathy under speech and text analytics. Now, we have videos demonstrating how the process automation works via triggers. Let's focus on understanding how to define the condition for these 3 notification topics. Let's take the topic detection notification topic and look at an example for a JSON path where we are looking at the topic name billing issue across any interaction to trigger a workflow. As part of the workflow, what we are doing is a simple call data action of an agentless API, which will trigger email when this workflow is activated by the trigger. And this is now sending an email notification to this particular email ID with the subject text body and the to address name. Now, it's important to understand you can use a send notification action as well and perform alerts. Now, whilst we are not going through every workflow, as I mentioned earlier, we have 3 triggers that we have configured. One is for empathy, the other is for sentiment, and the last is for the topics. So what we are going to see in an example is whether all these 3 triggers get activated and an email gets sent out. Now, what I have done for this example is on the Genesis Cloud Resource Center page, I have the messaging widget, and let's start a simple conversation. Remember, this is going to be a poor example of a customer experience in terms of a negative experience and empathy. For demonstration purposes of poor sentiment score and poor empathy, we may be using an example that may not give a good experience to the end user or the agent. I'm going to start with speak to agent to initiate the interaction with the agent straight away. So let's start with an agent response credit card issue in this manner. This is not how an ideal interaction would look like, but we are trying to build the sentiment here in a negative way. Now let's end the interaction at this stage and wait if emails get sent through. As you can see on my screen, I have loaded the interaction and let's look at the scores. The empathy score is minus 100 and the overall sentiment score is minus 88. And when you look into the transcript, you can know that The topic is detected, which is the payment related issue, and the poor sentiment as well from the customer, and the poor empathy that was exhibited by the agent multiple times. Now, you can also see this under the events to know at which side of the interaction do you get all these issues. Now, coming back to the notification piece, you could see that there are 3 notifications that have got sent out. One for the billing topic, the second is for the sentiment, and the third is for the empathy. Over to you, Chris.
Excellent. Thank you, Guru. And lastly, before we finish, in order to utilize trigger automation for topics, sentiment, or empathy, a given customer would be required to purchase either the WEM add-on for licenses CX1 and 2, the CX3 license, or the standalone EX license. So we hope you enjoyed this video on this great new functionality that is available within Genesys Cloud. If you have any questions or feedback, please email us at tamstudios@genesys.com. Thanks for watching and hope to see you on the next one.